Today, I'm going to cover a classic line in the second double corner opening. This particular variation was played in the infamous M.E. Pomeroy-Alfred Jordan match in the early 1900s. It's a pretty common variation in this opening, and I'm sure a number of you have come across it in your own games. So let's take a look. The opening begins 11:15, and white counters 24:19 to form the opening. This is a really good defense, and if you haven't tried this out in your own games, I really recommend it. So of course, after the captures, red is going to develop 8-11, 22-18, 11-16, 25-22, 16-20, 22-17, 4-8, 17-13, 8-11, and then 26-22. This is all very standard play, very standard in this opening. So typically next, what a lot of published play gives is this 9-14 move. However, 10-14 as played in this game is also a very good attack. And then white naturally wants to attack the piece on 11 by following up with 19-15, hoping that red plays 3-8 next, which will lose, followed by 22-17, 7-10, and then 30-26 is the loss for red. And I recommend playing that out on your own boards. So instead of the losing 3-8, red is going to allow the exchange by playing 12-16 next. Now, 29-25 can be played next, and that was actually played by Don Lafferty against Jim Morrison in the 1986 World Championship match. But this 22-17 move, which is played in this game, is also very strong and attacks the piece immediately on 14 and also encourages 7-11 to be played next. And you may be thinking to yourself, well, of course, red should go 7-11 because then red will go up a piece. However, if you do play that out, you will find that white will dominate the center of the board despite being a piece down. And it's actually a drawable sequence, and red may even be at a little disadvantage despite being a piece up. So 7-11, not great. So instead, red follows up by going 7-10 next, locking in those pieces. White then waits with 29-25, and then red is going to exchange with 16-19 next. Now, the 12-19 jump can be played, but it's maybe a little bit easier for white after 27-23, and then exchanging that piece off, followed by 2-7, and then you have the 18-15 double exchanges for an easier draw. So instead of that 12-19 capture, red is going to capture 14-23 next. And then white is going to attack red's strong double corner right now by going 17-14. After 2-7, looking to attack the piece on 14, white is just going to wait with 25-22. Red is now also going to wait with 19-24. And here is where we have the losing move by Alfred Jordan here. Alfred plays 30-26. Now instead, what white should do is immediately go 22-17 followed by 30-25, making sure that there's a total backing in its single corner. But now with the piece on 26 as opposed to 25, there's a vulnerability here. And I'm going to show what makes this such a vulnerable position for white. After 7-11 by red, white then has to be careful. It's slowly running out of moves here. So it goes 22-17 next. And now red is going to make a pitch and get a 2-for-2. And I'm sure some of you can see the sequence here on the board. It's is going to play 24-27 next. After 32-23, we have the 11-15 move, which I'm sure many of you are seeing right now. And then we have the double jump, and then followed by 31-24 and 20-27. So now you can start to see why having this piece on 26 as opposed to 25 is a real weakness in White's position. Pomeroy does a masterful job in executing this winning sequence. There is a win on the board here for Red. And let's see how he does this. White is going to try to escape as quickly as possible with 26-23, and then Red crowns. At the same time, White also can advance to try to get a king and continue to attack the stronghold that Red has in its double corner. And it does that in the next move. Red is going to press the piece on 23, and then White moves out of the way with 23-19. Red then is looking to attack the two weak pieces on the side of the board, and now White gets a king, moving into square 3 as opposed to square 2, which will just allow a simple double jump for Red, an easy win. Red is going to continue to try to attack that piece on 17, and White is going to also continue to back it up here. Red then goes 5-9 next, looking to completely pin the piece on 17. And White is also going to try to pin both of those pieces on the board now. Now here with Red's next move, it's going to look to immediately capture the piece on 17 by pressing it. And if White does go 17-14, it will allow the 1-for-1 exchange. However, the Red King will have both of White's pieces trapped in his double corner, which will ensure a loss. I recommend playing that out just so you can see exactly what that would look like, but the White pieces will in fact be trapped in that double corner. So pitching the piece 17-14 is no good here. So White is going to try to further attack the double corner by just moving up 19-15 next, and you'll see why it's doing this. So now Red is up one piece. The White King looks to bind up, again, Red's pieces in the double corner. Red does have to be careful here. And it goes 1-5 next. White then is just going to further continue to put a bind on Red's pieces in the double corner, and hopefully the Red King will just attack that White piece. But that will only draw here. So if the Red King tries to attack that White piece on 15, it's only a draw. There is a win on the board though. And I'll pause the video here so that you can take a look to assess how Red can move and win. What Red does is it moves 6-10 next. So obviously here, White needs to jump 15-6. And now Red is going to press the piece on 6 and go in for another king. Now instead of moving 9-14 next, Red is going to smother the White pieces by waiting with 10-15. White captures, and then moving on to square 11. White has nowhere else to go except for to allow the double jump. And that's exactly what it does. Red takes, and then only one move left on the board, and Red wins the game. So I hope you found that entire opening, mid-game, and end-game section very instructional. And thank you, as always, for watching.